Yo, what's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. We're back recording live from the mothership, Run Up the Fade, and we got another episode of the SOBIESKA Karate School, or Karate School. Listen, now this is a series, quite simple. I'm a Lida main, I love this character, and I'm going to take you through some of the stuff that I learned when I'm labbing, through playing, and just kind of teach people things that maybe they don't know, or teach people stuff that I think will help get better with this character, because I think this is the sickest character in Tekken. I think more people should be playing this character, and for the people that are playing this character, I want to help out in any way that I can with the stuff that I've learned. Today, we're going to be going over the YOSHIMITSU matchup, because this is a matchup that not only Lida players have trouble with, but obviously a lot of people have trouble with across the board. This is one of the best characters, if not the best character in the game right now. And I'm going to go over some stuff that I think can help people to beat this character a little bit better. This is a character, I'm going to put some Waivu stats up on the screen. If you haven't been on Waivu, I think it's called waivustats.com, I'm not exactly sure. I'll put a link in the description. If you haven't been on this site, it's worth checking out. It tells you a lot about your matchups, which characters you're good against, which you aren't good against. And if you look, you'll see that YOSHIMITSU is a character, since the beginning of Tekken 8, I have about a 45% win rate against, right? So, since the release of this game, I'm under 50% in beating YOSHIMITSU's. However, in the last 25-30 games, my win rate has gone up to around 67 to 70%. My last 20 games, I think, is about 75% win rate over YOSHIMITSU. So I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to understand this matchup a little bit more, especially with the character Lida, right? So I'm gonna take you guys over some of the stuff that helps me. We're gonna start off. I'm gonna show you guys a replay of a match against YOSHIMITSU that I played recently. I'm gonna talk you over some of the ideas that I'm having while I'm playing, the general game plan, and then after that, I'm gonna take you through some Lida matchup specific stuff that will help you apply pressure to YOSHIMITSU, because a lot of people think, without really looking into it, that this is a really tough matchup for Lida. And on the surface, it might look like that, because obviously she thrives on stance, pressure, and mix-ups, and obviously flash and spin would just shut that down for most characters, right? But when you look into it, I think this is actually one of the better matchups against Yoshi in terms of putting some pressure on him, because it's like her stances are almost designed to shut down some of Yoshi's stuff. So, with that being said, before we get into this, I need y'all to do me a favor. Go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, comment. If you do enjoy the video, do all those things. Maybe you go see the video first. If I teach you anything, if there's anything you didn't know that you learned in today's video, please go ahead, do those things for me. Like, subscribe, and share. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Right, so we've got this match, ranked Tekken. We're up against a YOSHIMITSU. This is the second match of obviously a 3-game set. I lost the first match convincingly, because I played into a lot of YOSHIMITSU's strengths. I was reckless, and I got chewed up by some of the tech traps and unblockables and the gimmicks that YOSHIMITSU brings. So this is the second game where I kind of analyzed what I needed to be doing better. I kind of remembered what I should be focusing on, and I'm going to walk you through some of this stuff, right? So early on, I'm going to talk you guys through some of the stuff that I shouldn't be doing as well. And I think that's why I picked this match, because it's got some good stuff and it's got some bad stuff. The first match kind of just had a lot of bad stuff, but this I can show you a bit better. Off rip, I probably shouldn't have attacked straight away. I mean, there's not so much risk because flash isn't a threat at round start range, but spin is still there. But yeah, attacked off rip. But then you can see, right here, early on, this is the game plan that I go with in general against YOSHIMITSU's. And I want to preface this by saying as well, this may not work against all YOSHIMITSU players, especially the higher level YOSHIMITSU players. Especially players who have been playing YOSHIMITSU for a long time, they're more comfortable. But a lot of the players you play on rank to use YOSHIMITSU, this is going to work against. Because a lot of them are gimmicky, they're scrubby, they're going to spam flash, they're going to spam this, they got flowcharts. So this is really going to work. The first thing you're going to notice, the first tip, is to just not give YOSHIMITSU anything. You don't want to give him anything. Everything he gets off of you, he needs to earn. That means don't be pressing into his frame traps. Don't be getting too aggressive. Let him open you up, right? So, like I said, we go back to the beginning. You'll see right here, I'm just standing in his face. I'm turtling basically. Sidestep, right. So first of all, straight away, you can see like I'm not even backdashing. I'm not backdashing. I'm not even playing footsies. I'm sending a message to this guy. I'm telling him, you're gonna have to open me up yourself. Right? This is what I'm trying to tell him. There's also some mind games kind of that goes into this matchup. But I'm basically trying to tell him, I'm not going to give you anything anymore. I gave him basically the whole first game. I'm telling him I'm not going to give you anything. So I'm standing in front of him. Because the thing is with Yoshi, right? My game plan is, when I'm playing Yoshi now, I'm looking for that crouch unblockable. I'm waiting for you to go into crouch because it's a move that pretty much is unseeable. However, if you're waiting for it solely, you can react to it, right? You see him going to crouch, you see the light flash, you hop kick. If you're not looking for it, you ain't gonna see it. But if you're looking for it, and I also have to say that you have to be somewhat comfortable. You have to get comfortable fighting Yoshi for this to work, because you're gonna have to be comfortable holding offense, blocking, right? And that's where I kind of am now. I'm a lot more comfortable in my defense, so I'm all right giving up turns, right? So, like I said, let's get into it. And I'm just waiting. I'm telling him that he's gonna have to open me up. We sidestep nicely. Gets wrong on my back turn, Oki. And then again, I'm backdashing. I'm holding block. I'm letting him run his flow charts. You see here, I'm not pressing anything. And the only thing that they're really gonna get you with, I don't know the input, but I think it's like down back 4, the counter hit low launcher, right? That's all they're really gonna have to kind of open you up, other than flow charts. You also have to be good with your throw breaks as well, because if you can't break throws, they're just gonna run up to you and they're gonna start throwing you, and it's just not gonna work, right? So you can see I'm just holding back, like, right? Not pressing buttons. You see he's also showing me his flow chart. And then every now and again, when you kind of feel like what's gonna happen is, it's almost like you're lulling them to sleep, right? You're not pressing anything, you're not pressing anything. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna start stealing turns, right? Or stealing. It's not really stealing, because you're not even fighting back, really. Not fighting back, right? And then eventually, when you feel like they're gonna get antsy and start pressing buttons, which they inevitably are, that's when you kind of explode for offense, right there. Plus, take my frames. And all of a sudden, he's almost dead. And then from there, you run your offense, right? He gets wrong on the mix and he dies. So if we go back to this round, right, what I want to point out, if you go to the end of this round, we go all the way to the end of this round, 30 seconds gone on the clock. This man has done 15 damage to me. And that 30 seconds, in 30 seconds, this Yoshimitsu's done 15 damage. If I was running and we were trading back and forth and I'm aggressive, I probably would have been dead 15 seconds ago. And if we look, let's see what he actually got that 15 damage on, right? Little 2-tap lows. So for the whole 30 seconds of the round, that's all he hit me with. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, you can take that. You know how many times he's going to have to do this move to kill you with these lows? It's not worth it, right? So you can afford, and even here, right? He done these lows for what reason? To set up a flowchart. And because I didn't press into the flowchart, he didn't get any damage. Now, if we go back and we look, right? I could have interrupted him here, right? Boom, counter hit. But, first of all, he could have flashed. He could have flashed, he could have spanned, and I would have been dead. Also, it's a bit of a mind game again. Like, I'm showing him I'm not giving you anything, right? So that's all he got for the whole round. So we go over to the next round and we do more of the same again, right? You take the punish, and you notice even after my punish, I didn't follow up, right? I'm poking. Another important thing to look at, right, is I'm taking my turn one move at a time. So if we go back, it's like I'm not really doing anything more than that. Like I said, take my punish and then stop. I went in forward 2, stop. Right? I threw my back 4, jab, back 1, stop. Low poke, stop. I'm fighting like John Jones, right? And then when you're running your offense, you run your offense when you know you can run your offense. Again, one move at a time, right? Counter hit, and now he's dead. And again, we're gonna go back to that round again, and I'm gonna show you pretty much the same situation, right? Where at the end of the round, how far do we get? Right, so 36 seconds, right? So 25 seconds gone. And again, this man's taken no damage off of me. He's barely hit me, because when you actually stand back and you dare a Yoshimitsu player, you say, all right, you have to come and open me up. You can see it almost. They run out of ideas very quickly. Now let's look. So he got a down forward one at the start of the round. And then let's see where else he got this damage off him. We run through this round. You see again, I'm just blocking everything he has. I'm not pressing into any flowcharts. Taking my turn when I can. There. Alright, cool. So we got a down forward one, first hit of the round, and then he got a dick jab. And that's it. For the entire round, a down forward one and a dick jab. Right? So I haven't run into any of his flowcharts. I haven't even given him an opportunity to do his lower unblockable. This is the problem, right? This is what you have to watch out for. As you have to make sure that you stay disciplined to the game plan. Because you can see right here, I'm 2 rounds up. In these 2 rounds, he's barely touched me. And then I start to get a little bit comfortable. I start to get a little bit more confident. And I'm trying to steal turns, right? So I do that, he blocks it. And then I try and do it again. Little note, that seems to work. If obviously against opponents who aren't going to duck it, opponents who know to duck that string, it's not going to work. But people who don't duck that string and they block it, for whatever reason, if you just do it again, it works a lot. So I tried it there, I shouldn't have. And I got counter hit by the one move that I told you Yoshi players are going to use, right? This is the move. And if I just didn't press anything, let me show you, right? If I just didn't press anything, I'm -4, that's that. You know, we can take that. That's whatever. He can have that low. It is what it is. But I got antsy. I got confident because it was working so well. I got a bit too aggressive. And I got counter hit. And now, you're right in the position you don't want to be in against Yoshi, right? So now, again, it's letting it slip, right? It's a nice sidestep from him. He got me a few times with sidestep down forward twos, right? And then I got a bit too aggressive. And again, in a bad situation. Got my punish, but my back is still to the wall. Bearing in mind, a lot of this situation wouldn't be happening had I just not overextended those times, right? So back is against the wall. This move always hits me. This is just a problem with me. That move always gets me. I consider that a gimmick in itself, but yeah, that low always gets me the second hit. You can see I sidestepped him at the beginning of every round, but again, I'm back to it. I'm just standing here, right? But because I realized that I'm already kind of in his head, he's already understanding that I'm not going to be too aggressive. Every now and again, you can go in, right? And it does work. And I'm going to show you in situations like where I hit this forward 2. Like, I can go. I can go. But, again, almost even like mind games a little bit where I'm showing him like, I'm not going to get too aggressive. You're going to have to do it yourself. There again, for a back one. Random explosions of offense. Again, he got me a few times on that forward 2. But again, being too aggressive. And then it leads to stuff like this. Me falling into tech traps. When we could avoid them situations altogether. Right? Bad mistake from me there. And in the matchup portion, I'll show you guys exactly why. But I got flashed. And this is where you kind of just have to have game sense. I knew he was going to press buttons. I knew he was going to do his tech trap. So I rage arted, caught him. That came down to just a read. And then this also, I knew he was going to get up and press buttons. So I ran at him and I punched him in his mouth. So that's a general understanding of how I'm beating Yoshis nowadays. I'm telling you, it works against most of them. Aren't going to be able to open you up unless you give them their stuff. So you need to play more safely. Now let's get into the matchup specific. All right, so here we are back in the dojo. And like I said, I'm going to take you through some specific stuff to know about playing Lydia versus Yoshi, specifically to do with her stances and when you could start to push the pressure and enforce your offense safely, basically, without having to worry about running into flash and running into spin and getting countered, right? So if we go ahead, we're going to start with the basic, right? As you can see, 1, 2, 2. As you can see, I'm going to get Yoshimitsu to either spin spin either way, or he's gonna flash. But it's random, so you can see, right? So he's gonna try and punish. So if we're talking about her 1-1-1-2-2 punish, and this also goes for her while standing 2-4. Sorry, while standing 4-2. Both +8, right? So if you're in this situation, you saw me, I would do 1-2-2, and then I would just stop. Because you have options, but this isn't the safest of situations, right? Because you'll notice a lot of the options at +8 can be avoided, right? So as you can see, Yoshi can spin. If you go for the 2, Yoshi can spin out of that. And this will beat Flash. Well, okay. This will trade with Flash. So trade with Flash. So already this is not the best option, right? Because it's going to lose to spin and it's going to lose to Flash, right? But a much better option, which means you don't even really need the 2. If you're in this and you do 3, this move right here is going to beat both. Sorry. It's going to beat Flash. In this stance, it's going to beat Flash, right? So if you think your opponent's going to flash, you can use the 3, and it will also beat the spin to Lydia's right. So if they spin to Lydia's left, they will get away, but if they spin to the right, you'll catch them, and it will beat Flash. So this is a good option to shut down. If you think your opponent's going to flash, you have to use game sense again, what your opponent is doing, which is why a lot of the time you want to do nothing and make reads and see how is your opponent reacting. If your opponent's not doing a lot of spins, then you know you can do this, because it's going to beat Flash and it's going to beat any other button that they press, right? So then you force your opponent into a situation where they're going to have to duck. The only way they're going to get around this move is going to be ducking, right? Any other option is going to lose, right? 1+2 is going to lose to Flash, and it's going to lose to spin. Random is not so random in this game, right? Yeah, he's going to do 5 flashes in a row. There you go. This will lose to Flash, and it will lose to spin. Same goes for your 1. Will lose to Flash, and it will lose to spin. Same goes for the low. The low will lose to spin, but the low actually will not lose to Flash, interestingly enough. And we'll get into more of that as well. More because of... Oh, okay, my bad. My bad. It will lose to Flash. The beautiful thing about this, and again, I'm going to talk about a lot of this stuff, go into more detail. The beautiful thing about both situations is in some of these situations, Yoshi can delay the Flash, but you can also delay your options, right? Like in Lydia Stars, you could delay and then go for it. It's still, that move specifically, it's still going to lose to the spin. But if you delay it, it will beat Flash, right? But it's not, that's not really useful specifically. But I'm just saying to point out that you can delay your options like Yoshi can delay Flash, right? So, point is, this right here, not the most secure option. Like I said, if you think he's going to flash, you can kill him with that. But generally, I like to just do nothing, right? I like to just block. You have mental frames as well. You need to bear in mind you have mental frames. Another thing to point out is that you never really want to manually transition for obvious reasons. It's just too slow. And if you give any Yoshi player the idea that they have time to flash, more often than not, they will flash, right? If they see you going into starts and they think, I have time to flash, probably gonna flash, right? And you will die. Even on any transition, really. You do that and you're gonna die. So, you don't want to do that. So, that applies to this. That applies to while standing 4 and 1-2-2, right? So, those stances, in general, you want to keep it real safe. Don't give them anything. Don't give them any flash. Don't give them any spin, because you'll regret it after, right? Also, obviously, there's mind games. Like if I punish and every time I do nothing, they're less likely to flash, right? Which then means at some point I can go for the 1. At some point I can go for the 2 because they're expecting me to do nothing and they're probably not gonna flash, right? So mind games works around it. So whilst the flash is gonna counter a lot of these options, if you play it right, you'll still be able to run your mix every now and again, right? So on to the next stance, which is gonna be horse stance, right? So actually, let's stick to cat stance right now. We're gonna get into horse stance after. Horse stance is actually her best situation. So let's stick with cat stance. Let's go over some of her ways to get into cat stance. So if we look, let's start on block, right? So if we get the opponent to block, a lot of the situations on cat stance, on block, really you just don't want to do anything. Self-explanatory. Your zero flash is gonna beat pretty much anything. Spin is gonna beat pretty much everything. However, this is what I was talking about earlier, right? So a lot of Lydia's stance stuff is kind of distance specific. A lot of stuff is at certain ranges. So as you see right here on block, flash is not gonna hit. However, like I said, Yoshi can delay. Well, a lot of this is gonna be showing on, well, all of this is gonna be showing on immediate timing, right? Yoshi can delay the flash, and if he delays the flash ever so slightly, then it will catch this. But on immediate timing, which a lot of Yoshi players are flashing on immediate timing, this is actually like you're just out of range. You know, flash doesn't have the best range to catch you, right? So you can run this, and at the same time, you can run the free. So the same mix-up that you have against other opponents, you have against Yoshi. Like, flash plays no part, really, in this mix here. The same way you would run this offense against a Jin, you run it, for the most part, at least. As you can see, spin will beat every option. It will even beat the 4, right? So there's not an option that you have that will catch spin. But again, if your opponent's not spinning too much and they're relying mostly on flash, then you know this will beat flash, because flash will just straight up whiff. Again, they can delay their flash, and then it will hit this move, right? But at the same time, you can delay your move. You can wait for them to flash and then do it, right? Flash and then you do it. So on immediate timing, you'll beat flash, and on delayed timing, you'll beat flash, right? But generally, when you do this setup, you want to go off of immediate timing because you want to beat the 12 frame moves. So this one is not as effective. I don't really use this setup against Yoshi's, mainly because you don't really need to, and it's not as secure. Again, when I'm playing Yoshi, I want to use my stance setups that are damn near guaranteed to work, right? While we're on cat stance on block, same goes for this move. This move is actually a lot better because, again, more pushback. Look at the range you're at when they block this. It's not the same as the range you're at when they block this, right? You're right in their face damn near. So when you do this, even on delayed timing, that's gonna beat flash, right? So same situation again, really. You can use that. Again, it's gonna lose to spin. But also now, if they flash, you can now use your 1+2. Because again, the range is not in Yoshi's favor. With this move as well, with your cat 1+2, they can still use delayed timing with the flash to catch you, but it's a lot stricter. It's a lot stricter, right? Because again, of the distance, of the pushback. So, in a nutshell, if we're talking about cat stance, if you're +8, I would ideally do nothing. You can, if you think your opponent's gonna flash, you can beat flash with this right here and get your heat engager. Beautiful. But generally at +8, I wouldn't risk, unless, like I say, you've been really paying attention and you're going on a hard read. I know he's gonna flash right here. I really wouldn't enforce my offense. I would just go back to playing defensively, taking what I can get, and running it like that. That's cat stance on block, right? Now, we go into cat stance, much more favorable situations, right? Cat stance on hit, which is where we get, again, to situations that are still very good in Lydia's favor, right? So we're talking about 1-1 punish. We're talking about down forward, 2-2 punish, sorry. Down forward 2 on hit. We're talking this on hit. And while rising 1-2 on hit, right? Very good situations. And even Red Puppy. But again, this is a move that I don't really use against Yoshi's. It's not really a great move against Yoshi. It's a good move in general. nothing really specific in this matchup that makes it good. But if we do 2-2, we're in a good situation again where obviously you can't flash out of this, but now they can't even spin out of this. There's nothing a Yoshimitsu can do to get out of this situation. So again, same on that. They can't get out of Cat 3. It's going to hit them. There's no Yoshi shenanigans that's going to get them to escape from this situation. They can flash, they can spin, they can do whatever they want. And at the same time now, this is also going to be Flash. Waiting for him to flash. This is now going to beat Flash, which doesn't really matter because why would you do that when you could just do this, right? You don't ever want to do 2, really. You just want to go for 3 because they're both highs. This is a bit safer, I guess, because it has the mids. It could catch them if they try and duck and punish. But generally, I'm just going for Cat 3. Much better. It's going to track spin. It's going to beat spin. It's going to beat flash. It's going to beat any other button. They're going to have to duck. So immediately, now, your goal against Yoshimitsu really, at least on offense, is to get him to have, you want to make Yoshimitsu defend you like everyone else, right? You want to basically take spin and flash out of the equation and make them guard you the same way everyone else does, which is guessing, essentially, right? And this move alone does that because now the only way they can get away from this move is to duck, right? And if they're ducking, they're not flashing, which means that now I can hit him with that, right? And as you can see, that trades. Not your best option, but relatively safe. You don't get punished if he does block it. If he ducks, it's going to hit him anyway. But if you take a little bit more risk, that's going to be a better option. As you can see, spin is going to beat it. But again, we're working on a situation now where we've taken spin out the game. So they're not going to spin. Let's say they're just going to... They're only going to flash, right? Now, that's going to blow them up, right? And this is exactly what you want as Lydia, right? Because situations like this do massive damage on your opponent, right? A punish into that counter hit, into that follow-up, we're looking at nearly 70 damage, right? Like burst damage situations like that is where Lydia shines. You want your opponent pressing or even ducking. Even if they don't press right here, even if they duck, you get a really good situation, right? Now I want to show you. Let me put you in a situation right here. So, if you know, right, if you land this move against any other character, you can fully charge this, right? I just want to show you here that against Yoshi, you can't do that. He can interrupt with flash. So that's just a heads up. But if you do land Cat 1+2, you cannot fully charge this. They can interrupt. Any other character, they have to hold that, right? Unless they're going to armor or rage art, they have to hold that. Yoshi can still spin. He can still flash, right? I just wanted to let you guys... I just wanted to point that out. But if you're in that situation, also now, this right here, same situation. So now you're in a situation where flash is still going to lose to those moves. I believe spin is still going to beat you. Yeah, they're still going to spin out of this. But the beauty is you've already found a way to make your opponent duck, right? This is what's going to make your opponent duck because they're going to realize I can't do anything to this. And obviously, if you're in heat, it's already it's a heat burst, so even more pressure. To be honest, on block, this is already a really good... sorry, he's not going to block. But on block, it's a good move anyway. So this is going to make your opponent duck, which is then going to lead you to being able to land this and land this, just like against any other opponent, right? So now you've already got your opponent defending like other characters. You've eliminated the flash and you've eliminated the spin, which is beautiful. In a situation here where this is plus 23, now at this point, they can't get away from anything. Spin is not going to work. You can see it. You're so plus that spin, you won't even get a counter hit. So what you have to do is you have to delay these moves ever so slightly. Not too much to where you're getting counter hit, But generally, you want to wait for Yoshimitsu to stand back up straightish, right? And even then, too early, right? So, there you go. So, you want to give them enough time. You want to delay it just a little bit. So, you get enough time for your counter hit to actually... Because you're so plus. But right now, as you can see, if you get this punish, you can be confident. I don't know why that worked. I guess I was late. But you can be confident that they're not going to be able to flash you. And again, in a situation like this is exactly when most Yoshi players are going to do spin or they're going to do flash, right? When you're really plus and now they have to take a mix. So you can be confident. But also, again, just pointing out, don't ever get too confident and manually transition. It's not going to end well for you. It's not going to end well for you, right? Is there anything else? Also, if you land this, just pointing out, nothing else is really gonna beat. +8 isn't really enough to feel. So if you land this move, again, I would say just like on 1-2-2, don't risk being span on. Don't risk being flashed because it's not. Your options aren't really that good. This is a pretty good option, but again, I personally would stop my offense right there. Now, that's covering cat stance. Is there anything else in cat stance? I don't believe so. So to summarize cat stance, if you are +8, you can stop him from flashing you with this, but generally doing nothing is your best option, right? Cat free, good option, but generally doing nothing is your best option. When you're +11, this is a golden option right here. And also, this is a good option as well, right? This can be span out of, but this can't be flashed out of. It's -11. Who really cares? It's not a big deal. Also, this works really well as well. So, you mix these up with also doing nothing. Sometimes on +11, do nothing, right? Because then, you can still bait out flash, right? Maybe you're not sure if they do flash anyway. You know, you just punish. So even at +11, you want to keep the Yoshi on the Yoshi. You want to keep the Yoshi on their toes at all times. You want to never let them know if you're going to commit or if you're just going to do nothing, right? So that is and also on block as well, I want to say if you're 0, you can still run your regular 50-50, right? Your regular mind game that you can run out of cat stance. Now, something else I want to point out before we get onto horse stance. Another thing that just works really well on Yoshimitsu is forcing him into crouch. Because when he's in crouch, he can no longer spin and he can no longer flash, right? So moves like this is a good move to use against Yoshi because you're +6 and he's in crouch. So now, you see me do stuff like this where I force him into crouch in the matchup I showed you. Now he has to hold the mix. Like, he just has to hold the mix. If he mashes, counter hit there. If he mashes, counter hit there. Flash, he can't do it, right? So he has to defend you, like I said, like everybody else. So if he presses any button, if he presses hop kick or whatever, he's gonna take that damage. And this is a beautiful way. So this one on hit, and also down forward 4-4. This is a move that a lot of Lydias don't use. I use it quite a lot. Forces your opponent into crouch, and again, +6. So even on block, I use this move to pressure Yoshis a lot when I get a chance. Because again, anytime you could take away their flash and their spin and make them play defense like everyone else, and you have a situation that's as strong as this where you press anything, your counter hit into guaranteed cat free. Yeah, you're gonna force them to actually play defense. So that's a good little tip. Yeah, force Yoshi into crouch as often as you can, right? Now, we're gonna go back and we're gonna go into horse stance. Now, this is the stance that shines against Yoshimitsu, right? So, let's start on block, and we'll start with forward 2, right? Obviously, on block, right? So, forward 2, +5. This is a really good situation. The reason I say horse is really good is because, again, Yoshimitsu can't really do anything to make you change fundamentally how your stance works, right? Because at the end of the day, a Yoshimitsu is still gonna have to guess between ducking and not ducking, right? And I say this because of one move, really. Which is going to kill Flash and it's going to kill Spin, right? And that's that. Horse 1. You see? They can't spin out of that. It's homing. It's homing. I'm right in your face when I'm in horse stance. So, like, a lot of the time you'll see Spin beat homing moves. It's not going to beat this one. I'm too close and it's too quick, right? So, even on block, you're not going anywhere. And Flash, this move is armor. It's a power crush. So, this is going to beat Flash and Spin. The only way Flash is going to beat this is if they really delay it. But I don't even know if there's a delayed timing. Because, again, I can delay this too. I can delay any of my stance options, right? It doesn't matter which way he goes. This move is going to shut down his options. And this is on block. This is on block, so it don't matter. So the only way you can avoid this, or the only way you can beat this, is to duck. So I don't even have to use this low, which you can see here is beaten by Spin, right? I don't have to use this low to get him to duck. Because he's gonna have to duck to get around this move. And he's gonna wanna duck because he's gonna wanna stop me from doing this move. Because this move beats Spin and it beats Flash. So essentially at this point, if I do this, which is, we already know this is one of your key moves that you're going to be using, right? If I use this, you can't Flash or Spin. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Right? So now, we've already shut it down with one key move. And if they do nothing and they just block, first of all, great. Because now I actually get to play my game, right? First of all. And second of all, I mean, on block, this is safe anyway. So, you know, like, it doesn't really matter. So now, like I showed you, this will lose to Spin. But this is another one of them situations with distance where this move actually will not. Let me go and change it myself. Wasting so much time watching them YouTube. My bad. My bad. There's a lot that goes into this. So this will lose to Spin and Flash, right? However, again, if you delay it just a little bit, then it's gonna beat Flash, right? Again, he can delay his as well. But at least now you're getting Yoshimitsu's to think a little bit, right? At least he's got to think about, let me delay my Flash. Let me do that, right? But, again, he can spin out of this. So you don't really want to use this. Again, you don't need to use this because this option is so damn good. And then, having said that, just to point out, your follow-up option off of this, the only thing you really want to go for is free, Wolf free 1. Anything else? Anything else other than you can do 2. Is it 2? Yeah, so you could do 2. But I believe he can spin out of 2. No. Okay, so I believe he can spin out of 2. Maybe. I don't actually think he can, right? But the reason why I say you could do 2, I'm just realizing now, right? I mean, you do 3-1. The reason why you do this is because counter hit, right? So if they do try and do something again, which they would be crazy to, then you get this on counter hit, which is a really good move. This is another situation as well, where you want to delay just a little bit. But generally, if you're in Wolf, like I say, you just want to use this move because also the only time, like I say, you don't want to manually transition between stances. So the only time you want to do, the only time you want to be in Wolf is off of this move. Really. There's no other reason you should be in Wolf against Yoshimitsu unless you're super confident that you've conditioned them and now you're starting to add some layers in. But me, generally, like, I keep it safe. I don't really go into Wolf. Yeah. So this move here, really good, right? Another move that's really good, right? So now I've said that they have to duck. The counter to them ducking is going to be horse free. And this is a move that I love. I think this is potentially Lydia's best move. And I'm going to make a video. Maybe the next Sobieska Karate School will be on this move. But this move, again, another move that beats both Flash and Spin. Because again, it's homing, right? As you can see, this move and Flash, I've mentioned how a lot of moves, A lot of moves, a lot of situations that I've shown you, Yoshi can delay his timing and beat and flash you. This move is damn near immune to flash. Like I've tried so many timings, ranges. It's almost like flash just can't hit this move. Like, unless the Yoshi player is going to be absolutely perfect with his timing and read you, it's just going to win. This move is just going to beat Flash. And again, one of her best moves, the damage that you're getting off 47 damage. Go ahead and Flash. Beats Flash, beats Spin. So already off rip, in this situation, even on block, Flash and Spin are out the window. They're out the window, and now I've resorted my opponent to using the same tactics as everyone else. Duck or don't duck, right? They can still play if they know the matchup. They could do sidestep this and that. But again, this is gonna beat that. If they sidestep duck, this is gonna beat that anyway, right? The only way you can beat this move is if they jab, and they jab float it, right? But then again, if they jab, the Power Crush is gonna beat that jab. So they're playing our game, right? We're not playing the Yoshimitsu game at all. We ain't playing the Yoshi game at all. They're playing our game even on block. So now really, as you saw the other guy did quite well, their option, they have to sidestep this. They have to stop us from landing this at all, because otherwise they pretty much have to take the mix. This is gonna beat that. This is gonna beat Spin. This is gonna beat that. This is gonna beat Spin. Duck, don't duck. Either way, I love it, right? So we add these back on block. Any other move is gonna die. If you go for horse 4, obviously it's a slow ass move. You never really want to, I mean, and not even never really, you just never want to use this move against Yoshi. Like, you don't want to give him this much time to get out of your way, right? So this move, forget about this move in the Yoshi matchup. In general, I don't really use that move too much. It's way too slow. I think the entire time since I've been playing Lida and Tekken 8, I've landed this on counter hit twice. So, you know, I found a decent situation to land to make it work, but in general, I don't really use this move. And then this move is pretty much the only move that Yoshi is gonna beat on block consistently. Flash is gonna beat it, Spin's gonna beat it, but again, we're in a situation where I don't need this move really. If I think my opponent is gonna mash, like once I've conditioned Spin and Flash out of them, then you could go back to, again, regular programming and use this move. But generally, you don't really need it. This low, as you can see, same story. You don't need it, right? However, that's the situation on block. It only gets better from here, right? And this is the last stance situation that we're gonna show you, because this is your best situation. Well, there's two situations, right? The first situation, your hell sweep. Your hell sweep is beautiful against Yoshimitsu, because again, there's not really much he can do, right? Now he can spin away from this, but I'm pretty sure, okay, I'm wrong. So Flash is still gonna beat this. Flash is still gonna beat this move. So really, you still don't want to use this move. But pretty much any other move, you see the low now is gonna beat Flash. Pretty much any other move, I mean, you still don't want to use it. Oh, well, there you go. I didn't even know that. I don't even think I checked that move against Flash, but that will beat Flash. And then you get your guaranteed follow-up. But again, still, you don't really want to use this move. So now, when you use your hell sweep, you can still use your low. As you can see, Spin is still going to beat it. So I still would stay away. I still would just go for, even at this range. And this range is why the low will hit, because again, Flash is not going to hit from that range. But even from this range, this is still going to hit Spin. This move is so good against Yoshimitsu, bro. He's going to have to duck. This move is so good against Yoshimitsu. So on this, your opponent, as you can see, in trouble. And then again, same situation, right? In this situation, it's a little bit easier for your opponent to delay Flash and catch you in the air for a float. However, I say a little bit easier, it's still like this move is invincible to Flash, bro. And again, you can still delay. Obviously, you could just wait for Flash, bait it out, and do all this stuff. But this situation right here, as well as this on block, Yoshis are going to be sweating because they have to make a decision. They have to either duck, or they have to not duck, or they have to jab float your horse free, which again is going to be beaten by this, and they're going to be in trouble, right? So, these situations, really good for you. And then we go into the final situation for horse stance, which is just the best. If you actually land your forward two, I don't want to get carried away, but there's pretty much nothing they can do, because now even this is going to lock them down, right? Even your two, they can't even spin out of this, if I'm correct, right? They can't even spin out of horse two. Yeah, they're stuck. There's nothing they're going to do in that situation. They have to hold whatever's coming. Even that is coming. The only thing they don't have to hold, of course, still horse 4, right? Like, this move is only useful if you know your opponent is going to stand block. But yeah, this move is now going to counter hit, launch, Flash. So this is the only situation really where now you want to use this low. That's when this low becomes better than that, because this, like you see, gonna counter hit launch. You're gonna do your combo, take him to the wall. Yeah, we all know, right? So this situation, you can probably even now yeah, okay, still no. So even you can still not manually transition and avoid Flash, right? So that just goes to show you just don't want to manually transition against this character. But this starts now. It opens everything up. You land this, you're golden, right? Like, he is locked down. You can lock him down. You can lock him down. Oh, still spin out of that. Boom. Interesting. I thought I was gonna lock down spin, but okay, yeah. So that's still beating spin, and that. I mean, your two moves. All you really need are these two moves. These two moves will cover anything Yoshimitsu can do. And that right there, so this is what I mean, like, there's not really many other characters who can run offense on Yoshi and mix him without any real fear of being flashed. I mean, I say any real, there's no fear at all. I don't have to be scared of flash or spin at all. Right? And again, these are my best situations. These are the situations I'm looking for anyway. These are the situations I'm looking for anyway. So, I don't have nothing to worry about. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so one thing that I wanted to point out, right? So obviously, like I showed you guys, Flash will lose to the horse stance low. But, obviously at the wall, because of the pushback, Flash will now beat the low, right? I just wanted to point that out to make everybody aware. But obviously in this situation, what you want to be doing is power crush anyway, right? And then you get the wall splat, and then you get, because in the matchup that I actually showed you, I actually got countered by this, right? Because I made the wrong move, and I actually went for the low. For whatever reason or another, I was like in the heat of the battle or whatever. And what I really should have just done was that, right? Should have just went for the horse one, got the wall splat, got my wall combo, would have changed everything, right? So I just wanted to point out, obviously, like I said, pushback and all that type of stuff makes a big difference in this matchup. So at the wall, things are obviously slightly different. Take into account, obviously, same way right here. On block. Like I showed you this situation, right? This is now gonna... Oh my god. Wow. I haven't actually labbed this. That's still... Why does that still... Wow. Okay. So that's a really good situation still. For you to be in. Does that work? Same for... It does. Wow. Well, there you go. But at the wall, the horse low is going to lose to Flash. That is apparently not going to lose to Flash. So, yeah, just something else I wanted to point out. One more thing, actually, that I want to point out about this matchup as well is to be very careful about your heat setups, right? So, obviously, a lot of us like to do that. This type of setup. Now, if he does spin, Yoshi can actually... spin his way out of all of these options. There we go. What, how did he get hit by? I mean, if you fully charge it, I don't think he could get out. Yeah, if you fully charge and you get the plus 15, maybe that's what I just done. But at that 10, he could spin out. At the 10, he could spin out. The only thing he can't spin out of, he can even spin out of the unblockable apparently at 10. I didn't know that. Interesting. Yeah, so he can spin out of all of your options at 10, right? But if you delay, I think if you delay, yeah, you can't even delay that enough to catch that spin. Yeah, so spin that option. Obviously this, I mean, everything else is going to be less frames, right? So when it comes to situations like this, he can spin out of everything. I don't think he can spin out of the unblockable on this. He can. God damn. So yeah, spin is still going to be, it's basically shuts down heaven and earth. Other than certain situations, like I said, if you fully charge this, then you're gonna be good. And also heat smash on block, he'll beat the 2, sorry. He'll beat the 1, and the only thing he doesn't beat is gonna be the unblockable, right? So the unblockable is something you're gonna have to use against YOSHIMITSU, right? Because they're probably gonna know this, so you need to know that they're gonna spin, right? What other? I mean, manual entry, if you catch them off guard, right, you can catch them, but obviously, manual entry, they're gonna have enough frames to spin, right? So it's just a matter of if they spin or not. Is there any other entries? I don't think there are that we need to worry about at least. Let's see. We're gonna experiment a little bit together now. Yeah, that's more than enough frames for him to get out of it. Yeah. Maybe they're unblockable. Yep. Yeah, so really there's only one situation where you can actually lock down Yoshi, and that's going to be off of your heat smash. I think we've covered everything today. This video's ended up longer than I wanted it to be, but I guess I had to go into a little bit more detail. Then I hope you guys appreciate it. Any Lydia mains that are out there, I hope you guys can be helped with the YOSHIMITSU matchup. At the end of the day, you're going to have to outplay him. Like I said, this is just what's been helping me. I'm still not perfect with this matchup myself. I've been getting better with it, but I wanted to share some of the stuff that's been helping me. Some of the stuff that I've really been honing in on to make me to focus on to beat this, to win this matchup, right? Yeah. Like I said, if you did enjoy, if you did learn anything about this matchup, if you learned anything about fighting Yoshi at all, leave me a like, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna have a lot more Lydia specific and matchup specific videos coming in the future of Sobieska Karate School. And also heading into season 2, I'm going to be doing some season 2 specific content as well. So keep your eye out for that. I hope y'all enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and share. And remember, never be afraid to run off the fade. Peace.